Hey, this is 108 Praise Radio here at the Dove Awards, here with Ryan Popper. Tell us what's going on with you, sir.
Well, what's not going on? I mean, this is a beautiful day, and I'm honored to be here right now to walk this red carpet and represent Jesus and his love and his grace. There's been so many situations in life where I almost went out, almost was sifted and probably should have been, but because of his grace and his mercy and his favor, he made a way. And so there's a song I put out called I Got Out, which made it to number 4 on the gospel radio chart. And I'm thankful for that. I've been bringing back old school choirs a little bit, and I've been traveling every weekend, ministering at churches and working with their worship teams and their choirs. And it's just been just an honor, really, to do that. And I think ultimately, you got to be honest, you got to be transparent, you got to be enthusiastic, and you got to love God and be thankful for all he's done for you. And if that's not in your heart, then, I say sit down.
I love that transparency, what you just said. It seems like it's hard to find a lot of that. Tell us what inspires you the most.
I think, honestly, just that. I mean, the fact that I 4 years ago was going to claim bankruptcy. The fact that 3 years ago I was with a label and thought that was my blessing, but then the label tossed me to the side. And then I had other labels that said, no, man, there's no way you're going to make it. You're too this or you're too that. And they labeled me. But God, through it all. And then to see this song, I Got Out, be a theme song for old school, African-American church choirs, it don't make no sense. I mean, I don't know what I look like, but like bishops and pastors have me in and they don't tell their choirs what I look like. And so when they first see me when I walk in the door, they all go, good Jesus. And, I just think it's fun, because we're trying to bring some love in a world today that really is hurting, and there's just a lot of, there's prejudice out there, and there's just a lot of mess. And so as people that represent Jesus, I feel like we just need to love when it don't make no sense, forgive when we don't want to forgive. Even when there's bitterness, I'm still gonna hug you, I'm still gonna cry with you, I'm still gonna love. And even with the differences, the culture, all that, to me, there's beauty in diversity, and I love it. So I'm just proud to be a part of it, and I know there's more than just the music, that there's a message behind it, and that's why God called me to do this.
There's a message in there. Sounds like you preach a little bit too.
I got a little something, yeah.
Thank you so much for interviewing with us. Stay encouraged. You bless our hearts, and we love you at 108 Praise Radio.
108 Praise Radio. Thanks for the love. God bless you. I'm Brian Poppin.
Thank you.
R&B and pop music back in the day. I used to live in New Jersey, commute to New York City, moved to Nashville about 10 years ago, and we put out a record called I Got Out back in July, which was #1 in sales the first week, which is amazing for an indie label, and I'm thankful for that. And then the single I Got Out, which we're talking in the gospel genre, is climbed to #4 on the gospel radio. So really excited, breaking down some walls, building a lot of relationships, and more important than anything, trying to represent Jesus' love. Any questions? Yeah, man.
The song I Got Out, love it, man.
Thank you, man.
It's got so much soul in it. What was the inspiration behind that one again?
You said a lot of what, soul?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know nothing about soul. No, man, the inspiration was 4 years ago. I mean, straight up, I almost went bankrupt. And I almost lost my marriage because I was prioritizing things out of whack. My ministry and my music was first, and I wasn't putting my relationship with my wife and my family and my 5 children first. And so just God gave me the grace to realize that, to restructure things. And I just took a moment, man, within the last year and a half, and I just stopped and I looked back and I realized God had spared me from declaring bankruptcy, spared me from going through a divorce and losing my children, and just allowed me the grace to work out so many things in life. And it's a process, as we all know, and so I'm thankful to sit here to say that song was birthed in my heart from just pure testimonial thankfulness to God. I mean, it was just, I've been through the fire, and I just knew a choir needed to get behind me with it. So CC Winans Born Again Church Choir joined me on it right here in Nashville, man, and it's become a theme song, as you know, for a lot of churches, man, all over the country. Thank you, brother. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. To start what? Oh, to start my own label. Well, in life, when you get kind of pushed to the side, when you get some uppercuts, some jabs you weren't expecting, and I just some people put labels on me, basically because of either my music or my profile, maybe. And we just weren't seeing eye to eye. So I actually was tossed to the side by the label that I was with. And it just wasn't working out. So a lot of frustration and a lot of confusion. I don't know if you ever felt that in life, but you know, that sometimes is God ordained. And even though we don't want it in our lives, it's God saying, no, I want that to happen, because that's going to push you and propel you to where you're supposed to be. And a lot of people maybe lose a job, and that's a twist and a turn in life, and it gets you to where you're supposed to go. And for me, that's what happened, man. I just realized, you know, the only way I was going to succeed and get this music out to the people, because I live in the church, I have all my life, and that's why we were #1 in Billboard, because I sold so many CDs and pre-sales. I travel as much as I can, everywhere I can go. I know so many bishops and pastors, and they all let me play at their churches, and so church people still buy CDs, man, and I'm, you know, can testify to that. So we started the label because I was either to this or I was to that. And nobody really got with it. So God said, I'm going to birth something in you, and it's going to be powerful, but it's going to be something that's going to be pretty much started from the ground up. So I got an investor, and I got a team of people we hired, man, and we went to town. So I would only challenge, you know, anybody else. If God's put something in your heart, He's going to find the way. But you got to have the drive, you got to have the passion. And you know, sometimes when it's your own money, you grit a little harder, you work a little harder, and you give it 110. So I feel like you got to bring that. Yeah, man. Yeah. Spell my name. It's Popin, and it's called Poppin', not Popin', but we keeps it poppin'. All right.
One last question.
Yeah, man.
Again, James Jones from Time of Refreshing. I get a lot of young artists that come onto my show, and I love what you were saying about keeping things prioritized. Can you just touch on that one more time to let them understand?
Yeah.
You can't just forget everything and forget about family.
No, well, that's just it. And that's why even at the pre-show when I presented, I said, look, let's give it up for the wives. Let's give it up for the families. Because, I mean, I have 5 kids. I have a 6th child on the way. I've been with the same wife for 17 years. It's not like I'm on my 3rd wife and doing gospel music, man. I mean, I'm for real and legit. And I believe in what I sing about and preach and all that. So for me, priorities are important. And, you know, God gives us 2nd, 3rd, 4th chances. But I've seen some people that only get 1 chance in life. I see some people that get taken out and, you know, just don't make it. So I'm a firm believer in giving 110% and letting God bless it. But you still have to have priorities, you still have to have a business plan, you still have to have vision, concept, and idea. You know, write it out on paper. Don't just sometimes go off the cuff. Write it down. Ask God to bless it. You know, you got to have something. I have singers that come up to me and say, I want to sing, how do I do it? And I'm like, well, do you have a demo? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, how's anybody even know how you sing? I mean, is something on YouTube that people can find of you singing? So you got to give God something to work with. Yeah, man.
Enjoy traveling and touching people all over the world. Got 2 little boys, 3-year-old, 1-year-old. Beautiful wife who's a dentist, but she doesn't do teeth. She just stay at home with the boys because God has blessed me to make a little bit of money and take care of her and the boys. And we pastor a church in Columbia, South Carolina called Forward City Church. Started that a year ago. 550 salvations that I'm proud of, because that's what it's about. Reaching the lost. I feel kind of like a comedian. I feel like Kevin Hart or something up here, just with a mic. How about I tell a couple jokes? You want to hear some jokes? Any questions? Yes, sir. You were first.
James Jones from Time of Refreshing Television.
What's up, James?
If you were not doing gospel music for a living, what would you be doing?
If I didn't do gospel music, I would be pursuing acting very aggressively. It's what I did in high school. Starred in a couple plays. Notice I used the word star because I had the most lines in those plays and I enjoyed it. And so I'll probably do some type of acting. Hey, man. Tommy. As an artist, and as a pastor, and as a husband, how do you find time to balance all of that? Woo! That's a great question. There is no balance. There is just a rhythm that we found. It's a normal pattern that works for us and my boys. And thank God that I was created in this day and age. We're able to use FaceTime and see them. So I'm not shocked by their progress when I go back home and they're talking and walking and stuff. But no, it's fun, you know. No balance though. I'm all over the place. I still haven't figured that out. I ask everybody. So maybe y'all can help me with that because I'm still trying to figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet. Ernie Johnson. How are you doing, sir? You look just like him. Anybody else? Hey. Hey, man. Intentional. Sorry. Intentional was really, I have to have a selfie, man. I promise you. Identical. Like, that's your twin, yes. Intentional is a song which was really a collaboration of two revelations. One, my favorite scripture, Romans 8:28, that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And secondly, just the fact that if God allows it to happen, then obviously he sees good in it. My wife kind of adopted this phrase that says, it ain't over till it's good. So that's what the song is about, that whatever you're facing, whatever you're going through, there's going to be good at the end of it. So, yeah, man. Of course, she can have a picture. We'll do that at the appropriate time. This is over. You look fabulous. Awesome. Hey, Ernie. Ernie Johnson, TNT Faith Radio. Hey, man. You waited. You waited. You waited is, having a Holy Ghost fit in the back. Let's go. You waited. You know, the songs that God gave me and that he really enabled me to write are based off of revelations, the way that I see God. So Intentional was seeing him as a God of purpose, Made a Way, seeing him as a God of power, and now You Waited, seeing him as a God of patience. Really just the thought kind of took me under, man. Just the thought of where would I be if he had left me. You know, the only reason that I'm able to do what I'm doing and the only reason you're able to do what you do, Ernie, is because God was patient enough to wait on us. And so that's what the whole song is about, man. Yeah. Hey! Aaliyah! Quiet, everyone. She's commending me. Thank you so much, Aaliyah. You're fabulous. Thank you.
How long you been doing this?
How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this for a decade, 10 years. Yeah, I'm a lot older than I look. I'm 52 minus 29 years. I am 33. Hey, but I enjoy doing this, and I've been doing it for 10 years. I started out very broke, didn't have anything. My wife and I would get broken down on the side of the road all the time, and but she stuck with me. She stuck with me. And now we're not breaking down anymore. Amen, hallelujah.
Tell us a joke.
Tell you a joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Double Wars. All right. That's all I got. Any other questions? Hey, girl. Africa, what was the question? Touring Africa. Yes, I'm in Africa probably 6 or 7 times a year. My wife is actually, she's a true African American. She's Ghanaian and American. And so I like jollof rice. And I sing, and I sing songs in African too. But I spend a lot of time over there. I have, I think 2 or 3 more shows over there before the year is over. So I have a lot of love for Africa. South Africa, I was on the plane to go, and my flight was delayed, so I missed the concert. It was me, Tasha Cobbs, Kirk, and Donnie, and I didn't make it. But I'm planning to go, and we've already arranged for it to be made up at the top of next year, hopefully. All right.
This come about?
Well, I was able to record this album that's nominated tonight after singing at the homegoing service of a dear friend of mine, Joey Feek. If you're familiar with Joey and Rory, when I sang at Joey's memorial service, Bill and Gloria Gaither were in attendance, and they heard me sing, and they about a week after that got in touch and wanted to work with me, and so we were able to make that album. It's called Call Me Old Fashioned. Rory Feek and I produced it, and it's winds up for a Dove Award tonight. It's just an amazing feeling.
Oh my God, that's so anointed. I've been with your mom and your aunt, your dad. I've been having a great time.
Yeah. Well, I'm blessed. You know, they've supported me all my life. All my family has, and so to be at this point and to be just enjoying the moment, you know, that's what we're trying to do and take it all in. Yeah.
What's the next phase and what's the next stage?
You know, it's hard to say. 2 years ago, if you told me that I would have 2 albums out with the Gaithers and be at the Dove Awards, I'd have told you were crazy, you know. So I'm just leaving it all in the good Lord's hands, you know, and letting Him guide it, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Have you always been a strong believer in God?
I have. Oh, definitely. I mean, to be in my situation, you know, and to face some challenges, but to know that with faith in the good Lord and help from your family and your friends, you can get through anything, you know, and God has shown me that time and time again. So, and proof that I'm here tonight is further proof of that, I think, you know. So it's just extremely blessed.
It is. And when we listen to your songs, you can hear the anointing that flows through it. And there's such a peace and deliverance that come. So I thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for this time to get to talk with you and just for your support of my music. And I hope that people get a blessing from it.
You are a blessing. Thank you so much for taking time to interview with me, Bradley.
God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you.
It's probably obvious. I'm just going to go ahead and take questions now, if anybody has any. This is Blue, my right-hand man. If there are no questions, I could freestyle. Just give me one, just so I don't look weird. Anybody? Yeah, over here. Oh, well, that's a great question. He asked, what other videos have you worked on? Lecrae, you've heard of that guy. I've done 7 music videos for him. I did Church Close 3, short film. I did Messengers, Say I Won't with Andy Mineo. Also done the 2 new Crowder videos that came out this year, Back to the Garden and Prove It. And probably 60 or 70 other Christian music videos that you've seen. So, you know, I've been doing it about 15 years, or not 15 years, 12 years. And it's been a joy to do it, so thank you. I forgot to thank the GMA Association. Thank you, guys.
Another question.
Sure.
Do you have a desire to go beyond the short videos and do anything?
Oh, yes, definitely. I've got to work on a few other things, like I did the full feature-length Winter Jam movie that came out in 2016. Directed that. We did 45 minutes of documentary content for that. My heart is definitely in documentary features. It's kind of a weird way to get there through music videos, but you know, telling stories is kind of a universal thing, whether it's fictional or an actual story. But that's probably where my heart is, documentary feature stuff. So if anybody has contact for, you know, Netflix or any other questions?
Well, thanks for what you do. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And trying to get it in a packaging that not just for the church, because we're supposed to reach out to the church, but hopefully to put it in such a way that'll reach out to people who are the future church, who are not the church yet. And so that's the message behind the comeback. It's a little, I feel like it's a little bit out the box, because, but man, it's been really well received.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he can just go to compromise.
Yes. How you doing?
Yeah, let me stay with that because I don't want you to go to change your mind.
From American Idol to where I am now? He asked about the transition. Is that what you asked? All right, so oddly enough, my transition was a little unique. When I came up, listen, I was so immersed in the church and sang in gospel churches and sang in my grandfather's church. I was just so churched up that when I went out for American Idol, you know, if you remember my story, my wife passed away 1 month before my audition. It was my last chance I could. It was a promise. And so I kept it to her, the promise to her, and I didn't want to go because I was pretty broken up. But when I got there, it was a healing process that took place. But not only that, I started realizing how much of the world could even recognize the God in our lives, not just me, but the other people who are Christians on the show. And I was so caught up with the church that I forgot about the Great Commission and American Idol. So one of the things I did, you can call it a mistake, I signed a country deal right after I came off the show because I wanted to go into a dark place because I saw how going into dark places, people wanted that light. It didn't work, and I thank God for His goodness because I lost my record deal contract, but He shifted me and transitioned me to a new season, and it's where I am now, but it still gave me the vision. Even though I'm in the Christian space, I try to write songs that, our first assignment is for the church, but the Great Commission is always in my music. So that's kind of how the transition happened. And I'm happy it happened this way, even with the failures behind me. All right, thank you guys so much.
I'm comedian, actor, Bone Hampton, and these are my favorite interviews when somebody has seen me get interviewed by somebody else, and they be like, I don't know who he is, but they over there having fun, so we gonna go and call him over here. What's his name? I don't know. We just gonna act like he gotta introduce himself when he come over here. We just tell him to say his name, and then hopefully the interview over there will be just as good over here. And if not, we'll just delete it. So I'm Bone Hampton, actor, comedian, hanging out. 2013 Grady Nutt Humor Award winner here at Dove Awards, which is code for Comedian of the Year, 2013 Dove Awards.
Comedian of the Year. I'm super excited to be meeting this gentleman for the first time. He is so right. I love his sense of humor. I was sitting here eavesdropping while he was talking to his friends. So I like the fact that you still keep it real.
I mean, you heard her ask me how much rent I was paying? I'm looking at her like, you gonna ask me, is it free in front of everybody? You don't know the difference between a public question and a private question? I mean, the fact she asked me, it implied that we was cool enough for me to tell her. But the fact she asked me in front of everybody let me know maybe you should no longer be cool enough for me to tell you. Because if you don't know when to ask, you might not know when to repeat it. Anyway, we were just having a moment over here. Just the moment at the Doves. That's what happened. So,
what's next for you?
Got a new radio show in Nashville.
In Nashville. Are you based here?
I am now.
You are?
I am now. The last year I was down in Atlanta. So,
really?
Yeah, I do comedy with some people you might know. Rodney Perry.
Yes.
I know him from LA, so we've been friends for like 20 years. And then, a couple of the guys down there. I mean, if you got a Christian radio station, you probably don't know these other guys that I'm going to talk about because they don't do no kind of Christian comedy. I always got to go take a shower when I get home from them and be like, Lord, I'm just trying to be salt and light. Not as salt and light. What is it? It's what?
Salt of the earth?
No, what is it? It's some cliche. Let's just say I'm trying to help the non-Christian comics be better about their life. I'm trying to help them not cuss so much. That's what I'm trying to help them do.
So morning radio?
Morning radio, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. We going to have laughs, gospel music, laughs, segments. We just going to do some of everything. The secular comics is winning in this radio game. So I'm like, why can't we have a gospel comic come in and throw his hat in there to try to win in this game? So I'm throwing my hat in there to see if we can get some laughs on the way to work so we can strut into our job with a sanctified stroll as we laugh to get up in there. See how you got to dip when you say certain words. Sanctify. You can't just say sanctify. It's sanctified. See? You from the A, you're from the A.
I'm super excited for you and everything that God is doing.
Thank you,
I pray that
thank you.
favor continues
Please
to rest
do.
upon you.
Please
in the name
do.
of Jesus. So serious. We need that in this season. Real
Yes, we
people,
do.
real remnant people for God.
Yes,
so
we do.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I will. Thank you for the interview.
Time. Thank you for taking time.
All right. What's your call letters? Let me do a drop.
108 Praise Radio.
108 Praise Radio.
Dr. Ronda Travis, straight up, no chaser.
Okay. You messed up all my 108 Praise Radio. What up? This your boy, comedian, actor, Bone Hampton, and you are listening to 108 Praise Radio. See, I threw that hesitation in there because I told you I was an actor. I'm not just a comedian, I'm an actor. And they tell you got to do levels. 108 Praise Radio. See?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you're doing.
I'm excited.
The anointing was in the house last night when you sang. I was crying.
Were you? I thought I was the only person that was. No, God is good.
Thank you so much. So beautiful. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Where you gonna be again?
Corinne Hawthorne, all socials. Y'all can be looking for me. I'm about to go on this tour with Ty Delaney, so I'm so excited about that. So yes, go get the EP, self-entitled, Corinne Hawthorne.
Thank you, Corinne, for taking our time with your girl, Dr. Ronda Travis.
Oh, I had to. Thank you.
Here yet. We don't know what happened, but he's gone to be with the Lord. But I just thought it was a wonderful song to bring to the world, to talk about change and asking the Lord to change whatever that's not in us, to change and fix that about us. So I just thank God for the song and how it's blessing me in the world. And thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you.
Hey Tamara, this is James Jones from Time of Refreshing TV show.
Hi.
Following you since the Kirk Franklin days. We know that you sing and you've been doing singing forever and a day. Has acting caught up with your love for singing yet?
No. No. You know, singing is my first love. I enjoy it. It's the icing on the cake for me. But singing is just, I just can kind of lose myself in singing. And to me, it's such, not that acting is not an inspiration, but I just feel like songs can touch even deeper.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, hold my water. Okay, I will without you. Any more questions? Yes, sir. To just keep doing what you do. I mean, you know, keep spreading the word until it comes to you. I mean, don't really necessarily, I say chase it, but I say keep working hard, working while it's day, I mean, in your local area, and keeping your gift, and don't let your gift lie dormant. And don't take no for an answer, because sometimes people will say no, where you know the Lord has told you yes to go for whatever that gift or talent is. So just keep working it, and if it's meant to be, and if it's His will, it will happen. It'll come to you. Hi. Do I have a favorite song on this album? The album One Way. My favorite song is The Potter. It was written by Travis Green. And it just talks about how the Lord, He is the potter and we're the clay, and I just love how that He can put us together. If anything is not right, He can fix, or He can, whatever's broken, He can fix. And that's my favorite song on the album. And I love Change Me as well, because it's kind of old school, traditional. Did I see your hand? Yes, ma'am. Hi. Hi, Fishbowl. Hi. Thank you. Where do I see myself going? I see myself going further into marriage ministry. Me and David will be going on 30 years of marriage. The Lord say the same April of next year. And I just want to encourage other families and other marriages that you can stay together, you can work together, and it can happen for you, and you can stay in love and still enjoy each other's company, because he's still my boyfriend, and you know, I'm still his girlfriend. And I just like changing up, like, you know, I gave him a new lady this weekend. But I just think it's just a wonderful thing, and that's where I see myself working more and encouraging more families. And we're out on tour. We're doing the Man Family Tour, and we're just encouraging families, because it's my whole family. My son, my daughter, David Sr., and myself are on tour, and we're just having a good time in the Lord. Yes, sir. I'm sweating. Yes. Yes, sir. And we have done some marriage conferences together with Montel and his wife, and they're a wonderful couple. And we were just talking about them earlier today and wanting to get with them and do some things of marriage, because they are a great couple. Anybody? Last question. Last question. Yes, ma'am, in white. Put your hand up. Hi. Big Mouth Radio. Where is the next location for the Man's Family Tour? The next, you can follow us at David and Tamala Man, and it has the schedule because I'm really bad right now because how things change and I don't remember right now, so I'm sorry. But you can follow us at David and Tamala, and that'll tell you where we're going to be and what, you know where we're going to be at? Manstour.com. Okay, manstour.com, see? Thank you, everybody. God bless you.
Thank you.
Not more, and it becomes like a second home to me. You know, I go there and I hear clearly from God. I'm able to, I call it come apart before I come apart, and I realized it had become my secret place. So in that, as I was writing the music for this recording, can you say that? I was going to say record, I can't say that. As I was writing for this project and kind of developing the songs, I knew I wanted to kind of record it in the on the soil of South Africa, and then everything just came into play. I heard God clearly say, release your next sound here, and that's what happened. It was more about that secret place for me. I want to share that with the world. Thank you. Yes.
Those of us who actually have a connection with God know His Word is an inspiration to us. Is there a certain favorite scripture that you have?
There's so many, but I think it's more about being in the Word. When you say a connection with God, it's being in the Word, not just one scripture, but all the scripture. Your meditation time and your prayer time helps you to stay connected. So I wouldn't call out one scripture. I'll say a continual daily reading, a daily prayer time, a daily meditation, and that time that you just hear from God to continue what we do. Yes. Balance. You have to know when you can do what and when you need to sit down somewhere. So, you know, but most of the time it's kind of, you know, when I'm producing someone, I am taking a rest from my artistry. And then once that season is over, I go into the next season. So it's like a producer project can come out, then I can kind of work on mine. Because sometimes when it overlap, you may overlap. So, yes.
James Jones from Time of Refreshing. When you write your songs, do you feel like you're ministering to a certain age group, or have you been called to the masses? What do you think God has called you for?
I think God has called me to the masses and to the nation. There's kindergarten kids singing, turning around for me, which is funny, but then there's also mother's boys singing it. I believe that there's a sound that God has given me, no matter if I write it or record it or sing it, that once it comes out, it reaches just the masses. Yes. Gospel Heritage, thank you. What's next for me? I'm looking forward to leading Gospel Heritage into the next phase of our new artists, not only artistry, but our worshipers in ministry as well, just being that outlet, that place, that platform for inspiration, education, that we can come together and actually get refilled or fueled up so that we go back to ministry, but also looking forward to more TV opportunities and writing writing behind the scenes more. I've kind of left my love a little bit, just kind of writing and just watching it grow. So I want to just do more of that.
Last thing you said, you want more TV. Does that mean you want to be on the screen more as well as just ministering through music?
Not necessarily. Although I would love to be on the screen, I got a good smile or something. But writing music and writing music, producing soundtracks and things of that sort is a passion of mine as well.
God bless you. Thank you.
Bless you now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doves.
108 Praise Radio, Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome. So excited to meet you guys. Tribute Quartet. 2 Dove Awards.
Yeah.
Nominated, yes.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Oh, it feels amazing. Anytime you're nominated for anything that you put any kind of creative effort in, and it's recognized by your peers. It's an amazing feeling. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
This come about? Did you write the songs,
or? Meeting with our record company, Daywind Records, and in discussing this sophomore project that was nominated Here For You, our discussion and our main goal was at least taking what we have up to the next level. And so they hired the producer, Wayne Hahn, to help us and guide that in the right direction. And through that whole process, we learned, we stretched, we grew. So to have something that we worked so hard for be recognized like that, it means a lot more.
It means a lot. This gentleman right here has been talking about you the whole time. So I said, let me grab you. Name by name.
Hey, we love Atlanta, by the way. We love Atlanta, and we love to go to the Varsity.
Oh, yeah. You didn't bring the orange drink with you, did you?
Tell my husband that. Okay. Mississippi. Okay, name my name, please.
My name is Anthony.
I'm Riley Harrison Clark.
Josh Singletary.
Gary Casto.
Awesome. I thank you guys for meeting with us today and talking to us. Tell us what we can expect next from you guys.
Oh, hopefully something even better.
Yeah, that's a goal. Well, we do this about 180 days a year, so traveling is the next. Yes.
It's always next.
With very supportive wives.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm Dr. Rhonda Trevitt, 108 Praise Radio. Dove winners.
Nice to meet you. My pleasure.
Nice to meet you as well. Tell us what's been going on this year.
Well, you know, we've had it's really been an amazing year. So blessed to be able to share music with my family, you know, my wife and our 2 daughters. And we just, you know, had no idea that we had a song that won tonight. But you know what? More than an award or anything, God has just blessed our music to go beyond. You know, we're able to use our platform to partner with other ministries like Far East Broadcasting Company. We're able to send radios into the farmost reaches of the world, where you can't even send preachers, but we can send a radio that's got gospel programming 24/7. Many of these villages will gather around this one radio and receive Christ. That's one of the things that's really dear to our heart this year. My oldest daughter, Amber, starred in a great faith-based film that's in theaters right now. It's called Question of Faith. I don't know if Kim Fields is also in it. My daughter plays the singer in the film. And so it's an amazing film. We just got back from LA at the premiere, and I've seen the film 8 times now because we've gone through all the screenings. And every single time the Lord shows me a different message of restoration, of forgiveness, of hope, and I just sit there and weep. And we're getting so many unbelievable comments about how this film is encouraging lives. I've heard that revivals are literally breaking out in the theater. People are standing up, praising God, and that's an amazing thing.
It's huge in Atlanta. Please know that.
Well, you know what? Angela White, who's the film producer, she said that Atlanta broke all the records. They had like over 4,000 people come to the film on one night. And she said that broke all the secular records for films too. And so that was a pretty amazing feat. So yeah, it's big in Atlanta.
I'm so excited, and congratulations. It's awesome to see a family doing what you're doing.
Oh, we're very blessed. There's nothing like family.
Nothing like
that.
that.
And you're now my new family.
Thank you
It's nice
so
to meet
much.
you.
God bless you.
God bless
Thank
you
for taking
too.
time for
Oh, my
108 Praise
pleasure.
Radio.
Very honored.
Give me some.
Well, it means that a very special album was released and people liked what we put on it. It was the message, we think, from God that we get to sing about. Music is very healing, and it sure has helped me in the last couple of years. I had a rough couple of years, but everything is shining now, mainly because of the healing that I got from this music that Doug and Jay and I got to do. So it's a way of expressing our thanks to God for giving us and allowing us this opportunity to use our God-given gift to help other people. And the award show tonight has been wonderful. We've enjoyed the wonderful talent, everybody who gets up and sings. They're absolutely wonderful singers, songwriters, musicians, and it's a wonderful show so far. We've been really enjoying it. Yes? Sure. Well, Back to God is a song that Randy Houser and Dallas Davidson wrote in 2008. It was on Randy Houser's freshman album, and that's one of my favorite albums. I absolutely love it. And so I said, man, I'd like to record that song sometime. And we did it for this album. And so it was just by myself when we released it on the album. And then when we went to the ACMs, Jim Weatherson, I think, had the idea of getting Lauren Daigle to sing on it with me at the award show, which was wonderful. And so then we put it on the Christmas album with Lauren and myself doing it just with piano. So it's going to be on a couple of albums. Thank you for that. Yes? I would love love to make a CD with Susie. She's the one that is the gospel singer of the family. I usually put songs on my album that you can take it either secular or spiritual, but Susie was flat out gospel, and she's a wonderful singer and a great entertainer, but also has the gift of telling the most special messages whenever she performs. So thank you. I will tell her you asked that, and she'll be thrilled to pieces. Yes. Get up here, Jay.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I started out in Christian music. I was in a band called East to West. We were on Benson Records, and so that's kind of where I cut my teeth. And you know, once it's in your blood, it's hard to get rid of. And I always love coming back and visiting home, so to speak. And when I had the chance to work with Reba, you know, it's one thing to love and admire your heroes, but when they're bold enough to sing about their faith and what Christ means to them in their lives, it makes you love them even more. So this was just a wonderful opportunity, and I thank you so much for allowing me to be a small part of this. I love you, Reba, and I love gospel music, and this has been great to be back here. Thank you, guys. There's a question we missed a question right here, I'm sorry. Did you want to ask something?
These are Reba boots. They're from 2 seasons ago that I had made for our show in Vegas. And then, no, this is Old Gringo, and I found this one in my closet, and somewhere I found these pants.
I'm wearing Reba tonight, though. This is Reba right here.
You gotta stay out of my closet. Who else has it? Yes.
Reba, this is James Jones from Time of Reflection TV show. You've had such an amazing career. You've done so many things, you've won so many awards. Is there something that you have in your sights that you have not attained yet, that you just want to keep pushing for, or have you gotten it all and you're just going to just go for the ride?
You know, I'm going for happiness and great health. Everything I get to do past what I started out doing 41 years ago has been just a blessing, icing on the cake, and just to stay healthy and happy and getting to do what I get to do every day. I wake up every morning and I say, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. Now tell me what you want me to do. And He guides me and He helps me, and I'm just having a blast. As I said on the stage a while ago, I consider myself the water hose. If He'll tell me what to do, I'll just get out there and do it. Having a blast. Thanks.
Thank you.
Right there? Yeah. I'm good. How are you? No kidding. Oh, you're sweet. Well, staying happy and healthy have a lot to do with that, and you're very sweet to say it. That was a cute movie. I sure enjoyed getting to do it. So I try to take care of myself. God gave me this body. I'm trying to hang on to it and keep as good care of it as I possibly can. Thank you for that. I'm sorry? Okay. Would I ever go on Dancing with the Stars? Oh my gosh, absolutely not. No. Nope, thank you though.
I'm with the volunteer movement. We're passionate about volunteering. Is there any volunteer initiatives that you're passionate about or involved in?
I have got a foundation called Reba Foundation, and it's out of Denison, Texas, where I grew up. There you go. And so we give to a lot of places that I'm very passionate about, whether it's Smile Train, the backpack program, which is Feed America, helping the kids in Tennessee and Oklahoma have food on the weekend when they're not at school to get food. And so lots of programs that I give to, of course, Red Cross, the Salvation Army. I also help Muhammad Ali continue the legacy that he had with the fight of Parkinson's. And then Andrea Bocelli in Italy with his all the things that he's doing in Haiti, trying to build houses and schools for kids. So helping out, giving a hand. Bob Hope told me that years ago when I first got started. He said, if you're not giving back, you need to quit. He meant the entertainment business, and I knew exactly what he meant. You bet. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Last question.
So I was at your Ryman show in February. Thank you. This is Lindsay from Country Network. And then I was at your Opry, 40th anniversary. How was that? When Carrie and Vince and Dolly came out and
Well, you saw how surprised I was with Dolly coming out. I was crying, bawling like a baby. Carrie getting to singing with her was just a thrill. But Vince is my buddy. We all love Vince. Everybody in this industry and all the fans love Vince because Vince is Vince. Wherever you see him, no matter what, when, where, he's a character. And I had a great time at the Opry. I'm very proud to be a member of the Grand Ole Opry. It's a very special organization that teaches us, reminds us what the men and women before us had to do to get a foothold in country music and to continue the traditions and the legacy.
Day, and I just wanted to come and just say thank you. I was a presenter, and I said, well, I don't know why I'm back here, but I'll just come and say thanks to all of you. So, God bless you. Hey, Mike. Hope for All Nations is an album that just came out by Karen Peck and New River, and the song is of course, the title song has been a song that's dear to our hearts. Was co-written by Benji Coward, Lee Black, and myself. We were able to go to Roatan, Honduras in June, and we recorded a video of the song, and so this song is really dear to our hearts. It really speaks to the church, and we love what it says, and it's really the season we're in right now. My husband battled cancer 2.5 years ago, and so we were in a season of surviving, but now we're in a season of hope. My husband is a cancer survivor now, so we praise God for that. And but this album, Hope for All Nations, is an album of hope and victory. God bless all of you, and I just pray the Lord continue to bless you.
How wonderful!
Just an interview that's very funny.
Oh, well, you know what? This is a great night for a comedian because all we're here is to provide a few laughs here and there, but we just get to sit and listen to the best music on the planet. Yeah.
Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Oh, thank you very much. And thanks for radio. You know, comics, we don't have hit songs on the radio. So if it wasn't for you guys telling about our concerts and what's going on in our lives, we'd never get the word out. So
what's the next project? What are you doing right
I'm in the middle of touring called Getting Back to Funny, and it's going really, really well. Honey, at my age, I don't know why people buy a ticket to see a woman. Before long, I'll be in Depends selling tickets. And they still come. I don't know what it is. You know, I keep wanting to retire and people interfere in my nap, but I am blessed. And I got an award not long ago as the most awarded female comic in history.
In history.
In history. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because there's like Whoopi Goldberg and Ellen DeGeneres. The man goes, yeah, we did the math twice because we ain't never heard of you. But God has rewarded when you stay focused on Him. And when it's all about His glory and His honor, He gives you these little pats on the back and these rewards, and that's kind of what the Dove Award's about. It's giving people little hugs, going, okay, when you get to heaven, you'll get a bigger mansion, but right now I'm going to just give you a little pat on the back, and that's what this is, and it's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I bless God to hear that. It's the anointing that draws, and I think God is favoring like never before, so thank you
He is
so
too.
much.
You know, I sound like my grandma, but I think we're in the last days, and so the anointing of God has become more and more prevalent and needed. We won't make it through if we don't have that, and so yeah, it's special. It's special, and I love your spirit. I got goosebumps.
I love you. Thank you
feel
for
it.
taking time with 108 Praise.
Good, how are you?
You're great. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. God has been good.
Yes, He has. So, what can we expect next?
Well, we just came out with a new single last week called Not Lucky, I'm Loved. So go check that out. iTunes, Google Play. Not Lucky, I'm Loved.
Not Lucky, I'm Loved.
Ain't that the truth? Yes, I wrote it. Ain't that the truth? Some people keep telling me, good luck. I don't need luck. I'm riding on the wings of love. So go check that out, and the new album is coming out in March. Yep.
Okay. 108 Praise Radio. Your name?
Jonathan McReynolds.
Jonathan McReynolds. Love you. God bless.
From Chicago. You want my zodiac sign? What's up? But I will say, this is my 14, 15, 16, 17. It's my fourth Dove show. I was able to perform on 2 of them, last 2. We just did a cool, fun collaboration with Bishop Hezekiah Walker. Hopefully you guys hear it. It was fun. We were up there just having church, tossing the mic. I have a new album coming out soon, a new single that just came out a week ago. So, Not Lucky, I'm Loved. Go ahead and get that. That's a single, first single off my new live record that's coming out in March called Make Room. So this first single is called Not Lucky, I'm Loved. Not Lucky, I'm Loved. Repeat after me. Not lucky, I'm loved. Cool. So, what's up? Not lucky, I'm loved. I mean, how many times have I been on my way to the stage and somebody says, "All right, good luck, Jonathan," as if a momentary burst of random coincidence that works in my favor is what I really need. No, I'm actually up there on the wings of love. God's sovereignty, His sovereign plan for my life. I'm there for way more purpose and way more than just love. And so that happens with everybody in life. You don't need love, you just need love. That's all. What's up, man?
I love your music. You're very transparent about
Thank you.
songwriting. So give us a process of how you come up with your great material.
Man, if I told you, now I don't know how much censoring every media outlet needs, but I have songs on my record. I would say 40% were established in the shower and 60% were established on the toilet. So it's up to you to listen to the next album and try to figure out if it's a toilet song or not. But I really just think it's just a matter of being still, a matter of being by yourself, and having nothing else to do but to think. The body's taking care of itself. So, my man. Thank you. I mean, we all are. You know, I'm 28, so the first album you ever heard, I was 21. So everybody has, a lot of people in this room have been 21, and they know how much changed by the time they were 28. So that's all just reflected in my music. So the first stuff was just me trying to figure out who I was as a Christian in a regular world. The next stage was more so trying to maintain that Christianity and that identity and the salvation and the resolve to be a Christian every day. And now it's called Make Room because now I have so much other stuff going on. I have a career and I want to pursue relationships and I have networking and all this other stuff to do. It's sometimes harder to intentionally make room for God. Now you have to really focus and say, I want to give God this time, I want to give Him this energy. So that's where I am right now, from establishing to maintaining to now almost re-establishing God's place in my life, in my daily schedule. Hey, what's up, bro? Good. Okay. I don't know. He asked me when I was going to be a pastor. So, well, I did get my master's in biblical studies in 2015. But the pastoring thing, we're just going to wait on that. I've been speaking, though. You should be proud. I've been speaking and doing a few more things, but as far as pastoring, I'm really just worried about whenever I have a platform, just make sure I'm disseminating the right information, make sure that in that moment I'm being a good shepherd, a good steward of the gifts, and a good representative of Christ. You killing me. Are you gonna be the deacon when I open this? But yeah, what's up, man? Thank you.
My wife calls you a worshiper. But let me ask you a question yourself. Do you have a favorite passage of scripture that really motivates you, really inspires you to keep doing what you do?
I mean, there's a lot of them, man. Of course, you got Jeremiah 29:11. That's the easiest one. For I know the plans that I have for you. I said, the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, give you expected end, all that stuff. Then you also have, for me, check out 2 Peter 1:3-11. It's good stuff. And it's very long, so I'm not going to try it right now. But it's basically giving us the tools to not be ineffective Christians and to confirm our calling and our election. and so that we don't have to fall. You know, that's optional for the Christian. So, yeah.
James Jones, Prime Over Christian Television Show.
What's up, man?
Question for you. You've had a chance to minister a lot of places. What's the one place that you've ministered to that stands out for you?
Man, a lot of them. Man. There's a lot of incredible places. I think the last place that I went was Norway, Stavanger, Norway. And the reason why it's different because, you know, I'm from the Pentecostal church where it's very energetic and it's a lot of participation. And, you know, when you go to Europe and other places, it's very much, let's listen. And so, but the fact that they still embrace it and they love it in a different way, you know, Norway, they have an entirely kind of different culture up there, particularly when it comes to Christianity. And so I just love the fact that this room full of people that don't look anything like me and don't come from any place that I've come from. They get it and they hear the God in it, and it's the type of presentation of God that even penetrates their heart. And that's really cool when God gives you a way to get to a lot of places. That makes sense. So, hey, elevate. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I've been a professor, well, I don't like to say professor. I've been a college teacher, instructor for, I think 4 years. And at Columbia College in Chicago, I'm just teaching a band. And it's really been an amazing experience. But Elihu Nation, that's my nonprofit. And so we've been doing that. We launched it last year. And we've given out about $20,000 of college scholarships. The whole thing is about this character Elihu in Job chapter 32 that was like, hey, look, I was quiet because I thought you were older and wiser. But now I realize that wisdom doesn't just come from age, and understanding is not just for the old folks. Us young folks can be smart and educated and wise and understand God as well. So the whole thing is just about creating, promoting, and encouraging wisdom. ElihuNation.org. Donate now. He's always calling me a pastor. So, yeah. Not Lucky I'm Loved is from the upcoming album that's coming out in March. So it's the first single. Yeah, it's coming out. It's from Make Room, and that was my first ever live recording. And it was so good, guys. Like, I didn't know what to expect, but it was really good. The video is great. So Not Lucky I'm Loved is the tip of the iceberg for this full album that's coming out in March called Make Room. It was crazy. I mean, you got to think that what's recorded is literally the first time I've ever sung these songs to other people. And so, you know, there's not that much real-time, real-world rehearsal that can prepare you for a live recording. And so it went against all of my meticulous ways. And so, but it turned out really good. God moved, and there's a lot of, what's the word? There's a lot of, anointing, praise the Lord. That's not what I was looking for. But it's a lot of improvised, extemporaneous moments. And it's really cool. It's really cool. All good? Oh. Ladies first. What's up, honey? I can't hear you. No gray? No gray? Well, that was, remember I was telling about the 3 albums? That was my establishing album. That was me trying to figure out whether I was Christian or not and what that actually meant. And so, that song is definitely a testimony. It's definitely, John, to get yourself together. I call it self-evangelizing. And so it's definitely not a preachy song, even though people take it as that. It's literally that I was split in two. Part of me loved the world and the other loved God. And I'm just really blessed that God has allowed that song to relate to a lot of people and preach them through it like it kind of preached me through college. Because, you know, we like to go crazy in college a little bit. Mama wasn't there. I can't hear you. Well, are you talking about hypothetically or just personally? For me, Oh, well, I think my purpose, I was just talking to Todd Delaney, who's an incredible worship leader. He is very much concerned about the worship. When we gather, when we come together, are we getting to the feet of God, and are we doing what we need to do as a corporate body of worshipers? He's in the middle of the temple in Jerusalem, making sure that what happens there is fruitful and effective. I am kind of at the gate of Jerusalem saying, don't leave and come. Don't leave, come. I'm saying to everybody that has grown up in church so much and they've been in Jerusalem all their life to the point that Jesus is so familiar that it bred contempt, and the people that have never been in church at all, I'm like standing there and saying, hey, before you leave, listen to this. Before you say you're never going to come back, listen to this. And so I really feel like a little bit of an ambassador, I guess. You know, and there's plenty of us. There's a lot of us that are out here at the gate and trying to make sure that more people enter church and less people leave it. And that's where I'm at. Yep. All good? Oh.
When you said that you were asked the question, at what point did you realize that a lot of people, especially in church, worship being like go-to music genre, and some people might try to say, well, let's do it. When did you find out I'm Jonathan, this is what I do?
It's progressive, man. I mean, you know, everybody should start off with the call of represent Christ well. Go ye therefore and teach all nations. Everybody should go with the general Christian cause. And over time, your passion and the doors God opens will give you some more insight into your specific call. But it's still progressive. And if you ask me this next year, I might have more understanding about what it is. Just don't box God in. And make sure you represent him well. Make sure you always look to him and look at what he's doing, because he's everything from the stars to the cells in our body are very much ordered and positioned in a certain way. So he does the same thing for your life. All good? I love y'all so much. God bless you. I'll see you hopefully next year.
Yeah, I made a video for a church about millennials about a year and a half ago, and just made it for the church. I'm a millennial myself, so some of the inspiration came out of the mirror, and so they put the video on Facebook, and it has about 150 million cumulative views at this point, which is about 150 million more than we were expecting. So yeah, but it's been a neat thing. We've gotten to doors have been open in different places, and opportunities have been open in different places for us to talk about the gospel. So it's been a big win-win for sure.
Got time for one more?
I would collaborate with Zach Williams out in the hallway if he asked me to. It's been neat kind of coming up with Zach, and so we get to see each other a lot at festivals and stuff, and love his heart, love his music. He's an Arkansas guy, so we're neighbors. Would love to do that sometime. That'd be awesome. New album's called Different. Yeah, so the song Different, it kind of came out of, for a long time, I felt like Psalm 139 was a punishment. Being uniquely made was something wrong with me. But what I'm learning is what the Lord calls unique, he also calls wonderful. And so it's just an embracing of saying, God, you've carved out something different in me, so I want to make sure to magnify you in a different way, because different people make a difference. And so that's kind of where the calling came from, for sure.
Thank you, everyone.
What's up? ATL in the building. What's up?
It's nothing going on tonight, but everything with you guys. So pleasure to meet you first.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
What's going on with you?
Everything right now. This is my wife, Kristen, and I, and
How are you?
we're excited because today we just dropped a marriage book. We released a marriage book. It's called "This Is How We Do It: Making Your Marriage a Masterpiece." We
follow you on Instagram.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So we've probably been inundating you, but we're excited. You know, we want to see the covenant of marriage reignited for this generation. And so with that, we had a cool opportunity to co-author a book. We get to speak together and travel together, parent together, love God together. And so today is a monumental day for us, that the world gets an opportunity to see what it looks like to have an eternal strategy over an exit strategy in marriage.
I love that. An eternal strategy over an exit strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's looking for an exit.
Well, people go in trying to figure out how I get out.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And if you just take divorce off the table,
It's not an option.
Not an option. If divorce is an option, you got too many options.
Oh my God. That's my husband and I. We're in ministry together, both pastors. So
Yeah.
God bless.
You understand.
I understand.
Oh, yeah.
What you're trying to get out. So, Victory.
Yeah, Victory World Church, Norcross, Georgia. Pastor Dennis and Colleen Rouse. We've been there now since 2008. Been members there and love what I get to do. I'm an exec pastor there. I get to work in marriage ministry, men's ministry, and music ministry.
Wow. What an honor, what a privilege, what an example in the body of Christ.
We're honored.
How many years?
In ministry there at Victory, it's been since 2011.
No marriage.
But that's 23.
God
Yeah.
from glory. You
Yes,
know
indeed.
What I'm saying? Y'all make me want to shout for real.
Come on now.
I'm serious.
That's good.
In our day and time, even
Oh,
in
yeah.
ministry.
We love what we get to do. We love what we
We
get to
weathered
do.
the storm, and God absolutely restored and redeemed something that seemed amazingly broken.
Yeah.
But that's what He does. He fixes the broken, and He gives us beauty for ashes.
Beauty for ashes. I love you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by
Thank
and
you.
talking to 108 Praise Radio. Maybe we can get you on the air one day.
We love that. We're in Atlanta, so let's make it happen.
We'll make it
October 17th, we released a marriage book called This Is How We Do It. No, it's really, you laugh. It's called This Is How We Do It, Making Your Marriage a Masterpiece. Been married for 23 years. We'll be married together forever. We believe in the covenant of marriage and what God desires it to look like. And we got a chance to release a book today at montelandkristen.com, and it's at Barnes & Nobles and Amazon and all the other places. But if you have a marriage or you know somebody that has a marriage, it's good God stuff in there and personal testimony that we would love for you to be able to share with your outlets and your profession, because it's our heart's cry for people to be able to know what the love of Jesus looks like in a marriage between a husband and wife.
It's been our honor to do this. We actually did a Bible study as well with an 8-week curriculum that goes with it, and we hope that it blesses people and allows people to see that if God can fix this, He can fix anything.
That's it. Yes, sir. What brought me out of the secular world to being born again? I was a kid brought up in church, probably almost born in church musician, played piano, all those different things. I just believe sometimes people get their schooling in seminary. I got mine in cemetery. I went through the world and had to take that journey because God uses me now, not only in the church or in ministry, but He allows me to be able to go back into the world where I was, to be able to find other people who are lost like me, to be able to do that. And so I believe that whole journey for me of coming out of the world or going into the world to come out was for testimony's sake. That's it. Yes, sir. Roll Tide. I was brought up in church, but I can say I was in church, but church wasn't in me, if that makes any sense. But so I came to faith first, but mine was kind of superficial. She really got to know Jesus, and then she's the one that kind of loved me too, Jesus.
Actually, we were dating at the time. I came to know Jesus, and I fell madly in love with Him. And as crazy as I was in the world was as crazy I was for Jesus. And He asked if He could get back together with me, and I said, and He said, can I date you? And I said, sure, on Wednesday at 7 or Sunday at 11. And basically,
I was chasing her, she was chasing Jesus, Jesus was chasing me, Jesus catches me, and that's how this whole thing came together. We got 4 kids and it's done deal. Anybody else? We'll probably take one more. Second, what's in the rotation music-wise? That is an interesting question. I am actually right now in the process of, everything is really about the book right now, but next year will be 23 years that we're currently married, 23 years. Next year will be 23 years that I've been in the music business from This Is How We Do It to 1995. And so we might be working on a musical project called 23, which is also the number of Jordan. Some of y'all athletic. people will understand that. But we're looking at a project maybe called 23 that goes along with our Marriage Masterpiece curriculum. So it's for husbands, wives, it's for people to love Jesus, but then also they love marriage and they love the things that come along with being able to date your spouse. So, that's it.
Thank you, guys.
Love y'all. Thank you.
Hey, good. How are you? Good to see you again. Sure, yes. He said, I heard you're taking a little time off and recording. Yes. So right now, this is the last thing of the year. I'm like, oh, going out with a bang. Here we are at the Doves. And I'm just taking time to just rest and see what the Lord has in store for the next album. And we're going to start putting our guns to full load in about 2.5 months or so. We're going to go get ready in the studio, start writing and everything in January. Well, so far the record, he said, what's it about? So far the record is about identity. It's something that the Lord just placed on my heart about 2 years ago. And I, since then, have seen all of these places of identity that people are longing to know who they are. And I think we are fully in a culture where people are kind of wondering identity. And I'm hoping, and I know that He'll just give me the songs for this generation. That's what I've been praying for. Lord, just download exactly what it is that you want me to sing over the people, sing to the people, and something that they can sing with me as well. Thanks. Good to see you. Hey. Oh, Almost Human. Yes. Okay, so I had a friend, well, he's a friend now, but his name is Michael, and we get this anonymous call from someone we didn't know, and he was working on the movie Blade Runner. He was the one that was kind of comprising all the music for it, and he's a Christian, and he kind of sat me down and just said, we want to have your voice on this project. Would you be interested? So I went away and I was like, okay, Lord, I need you to just give me strategy for this. Is this something you want me to be a part of? And I couldn't get away from the idea of every person that's in those theaters that are watching Blade Runner that might not know who God is, that might need His hope, that might need His love, the things that we as Christians offer the world and bring to the world. What does that look like? And so if I was able to write a song on the project and people get to hear it, that was enough for me. Just getting to see God intersect lanes that I haven't walked in before, that I'm honestly so honored just to be a part. And yeah, I feel like He breathed on it. We were in the writing room, and it's about, the symbolism is about, there's characters in the movie that are replicants, and then there's humans. And the replicants are kind of like the artificial intelligence. So they long to be human. And I said, well, I can kind of put that in my own way of longing. We as humans, we all have this, we hear the God-shaped hole, that whole reference. We all have just this place of longing that we want to know who God is. We long for God in ways that sometimes we don't even see. And so the song is about that place of recognizing our longing and recognizing who we are apart from Him, but then who we are when we come in to what He has in store for us. Hey. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. What's been the most significant way that How Can It Be has changed my life? Oh my gosh. Well, one, I never knew the capacity of a song. And I think that's something that's really, really changed my life is I've always been impacted by music, impacted by songs, but I never really fully understood the capacity of a song. And when God comes and breathes on a song and people enter His presence, and when all of a sudden we're praying with someone who has scoliosis and their back gets straightened out right there, or all of a sudden we're praying with a woman who just walked through a horrific divorce, and you see how these songs have been like a backbone or a foundation for them to stand on because they enter into the presence of God when they hear hear those songs, that has been the thing that has completely transformed my life, and it's something that I never want to lose, regardless of what I sing. I'm like, God, come and do that same thing on any song that comes out. Come and do that same thing. I want people to encounter His presence, and so the capacity of a song, that's really changed my life. Yeah.
This will be the last question.
Hey. Yeah. Yes. What's that little song that you used to sing when you were a kid? Hiding under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Okay, that has been the thing. It's so funny because when I was a little girl, that was the song that I absolutely loved the most. And now I see kind of why. God like has this funny way of weaving things into the pattern of our heart way before we even know what it means. And now, in this moment in my life, in this season in my life, he asked a question about how the songs have kind of expanded beyond the church. Now I'm sitting and watching and I'm like, okay, Lord, like bring me into the dark places. I'm ready. Like why sit here and just say, okay, I'm gonna hide it under a bushel. No, I'm like, let's go. Let's go into the dark places. Let's go into the church and let's let the church permeate into the world. That's what we're about. Let's permeate into the world and show the hopeless that there is hope. Show the lost that they can be found. Show people who are desperate that there is joy. And joy he brings through that mourning season. And so those are the things that I want to go and tell the world. And so if He's letting the songs go beyond the church, well, to Him be the glory. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. Have a great night.
This is Miss Debbie Boone, the legendary OMG. My bucket list too. Okay, tell us what's been going on with you.
Well, this
your
is
dad.
He's getting an award tonight, which is why I'm here. Very last minute, I was asked to come in, and my mom couldn't be here and wanted to be so much, so I'm sort of taking her place to just stand and support. He's so worthy of this award, Lifetime Achievement Award, and I'm continuing to record and sing, and life is great.
Now, this younger generation may not know your hit song. Please state.
You light up my life.
You light up my life, Debbie Boone. There's Pat Boone. Mr. Pat Boone, 108 Praise Radio, Atlanta, Georgia. How are you tonight?
Doing great. Happy to be here. I'm glad that gospel music's doing so well. I'm from Nashville. I grew up here, and I first was leading singing as a high school student in our church services, a cappella. We didn't have piano. I had to lead a cappella hundreds of people at one time. It was great vocal exercise.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations. I know you got to get on your way. God bless you.
Good evening, everybody. I don't know if anybody wants to ask me anything. I'll just to let you know that I was very, very pleased to be given this award from Sound Exchange, and I don't know how many of you know what Sound Exchange is. All of us singers and all recording artists know who Sound Exchange is because they're a non-profit organization, and they try to make sure that we performers, fair play and fair pay for what we do, because so often the music is used in many ways that we hadn't even considered, either in films, on television, or wherever it may be, and somebody gets paid. Publishers get paid, record companies get paid, but the performers usually get very little, if anything. Still, Sound Exchange is doing a good enough job that we all get checks from Sound Exchange, and we look forward to them, and especially those who are really semi-dependent on it. And even if somebody like me who is not dependent on any of my record sales these days, thank God, still I look forward to the Sound Exchange checks, as does my wife, the daughter Red Foley, the great Country Hall of Fame singer. And she gets checks because they're doing their job in a non-profit way. And they thought that maybe we ought to bring more attention to Congress and to other people in power and publishing and television and so on, and say, hey, let's be fair to the people who are furnishing this entertainment. You see, at the end of films, you hear records that are played, and they may not have had anything to do with the movie. They're just trying to keep you entertained while you read the credits, which many people don't. So, anyway, that's that. They gave me an award, a Fair Play Award, and then the GMA approved it because it's kind of like a reward from the GMA. I'm in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, thank God. But but this was another kind of recognition that I'm trying to use my position as an entertainer to get fair play for other entertainers. I've been blessed. I want them to be blessed as well. Now, would there be any question from anybody? Yeah. Well, he says that a couple years ago I may have made a statement. I thought I had recorded my last gospel album. I said this may be my last, and so far it is. It was Legacy, an album. I named it that because they were all songs I had written, the words and the music. People don't always know that I didn't write a lot of my hit songs, but I've written a lot of other songs and recorded them. And this was out of my own worship and devotional times, these songs, and I called it Legacy because it's something you leave behind for others. I hope maybe one of these days a song or two that I wrote will actually be sung in worship by other people. But I can't say for sure that I'm not going to record again. However, I am about to start a podcast, and I'll be playing some of the 1,500 records that are owned by MCA, including gospel records. And we're going to do some compilation albums, and I want to feature songs that I recorded in those albums, but maybe were never heard except by the people who bought the albums. But they're songs that I want more people to know, and the recording. So we could put together some compilation albums without my having to even record more. But who knows? I mean, I'm still singing, still performing, and I can still do it if the right songs come along and the right idea. I can do it. So, anything else? I'm going to go back and take some individual. Yeah. It's 20. This is the 20th. This is a little bit of irony. This is the 20th anniversary of my heavy metal album, Heavy Metal Classics with big band jazz arrangements, and we're going to have a big celebration at the Grammy Museum, not museum, but the Grammy's office, I guess. There's going to be a commemoration or a celebration of the 20th anniversary of the heavy metal album, and here I am receiving awards for my gospel recording, and I'm about to lead a tour to Israel in May, several hundred people, and we'll do a TV special there and concerts there, live concerts. So I'm conducting a tour to Israel, being honored by the GMA, and also celebrating the 20th anniversary of my No More Mr. Nice Guy album. There's a little irony in that.
Congratulations on your new movie.
Thank you very much.
Hitting the
A Question of Faith.
Question of Faith, hitting the boxes, and Atlanta's loving it. We're loving it.
Oh, Atlanta, you have been turning it out. Thank you. And of course, I knew that Atlanta would support the film, but because the film was filmed there, I felt like Atlanta was like, oh, this is ours.
It's ours. It's ours. Our churches. I'm a pastor.
Okay.
So we all have been taking our church groups and by busloads. So congratulations, girlfriends. It's a great movie. I just met the young lady that starred in it, that sung.
Yes,
Yes. Amber.
Yeah, she's wonderful in it.
Did you write it?
No, I just acted. That's all I did.
Really?
Yep.
So what made you want to do this particular part?
The role, that character, Teresa, she is something else. And, no, and that's why it was, I look for characters that are not like me, characters that will challenge me as an actor, make me work hard as an actor. And that's what that character did. Of course, I can recognize certain things that are common just, from a humanities standpoint. But I really liked her a lot and liked the journey that she's on, the highs and lows, and how she handles it.
Congratulations on your continued success.
Thank you.
You said it was how many years?
It's 40 years, and that's why my autobiography comes out this November, A Blessed Life, November 14th, and it's really just kind of putting the first 40 on pause and looking back, going, "Ooh, okay, this is what you've done, Lord."
And you found the fountain of youth.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time with us.
pleasure.
Congratulations, continued success.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless you.
Thank you.
Questions? Yeah. Yes. A long time. Yes.
How does it feel to know that how do you feel about the direction of gospel being in the neighborhood?
Oh, I love it. I mean, everybody who was with me, Tamala Mann, who's amazing, Travis Green, who else was in there? Kirk, of course, amazing, and Tasha Cobbs. I love every single one of them. I mean, I will listen to them, and the first time I heard Tasha Cobbs, I didn't know who she was. She came out and she was worshiping at a church, and I just got totally lost in worship. I was on my knees crying. And, you know, for me as a worshiper, it's so important to be able to worship without being interrupted, you know? And she just knows how to flow. So I'm excited about everybody that was in the category with me tonight. Yeah, I was totally shocked that I actually won tonight. Huh? Yes.
You have done so many amazing songs that have just ministered to the masses. Of all the songs that you've done, which one ministers to you the most?
Oh, that is hard. Because all of them minister to me at different times, you know? And that's always my prayer whenever I go into the studio. It's like, Lord, what do you want me to say now, you know? And it has to touch me before I can feel like it's going to touch somebody else. So that's a hard one to, I mean, I think, of course, when it comes to just worship, you know, Alabaster Box is more of a signature song that really sums up my life of being a worshiper. But all of the songs are pretty awesome. Yes, ma'am. Hi. Thanks, Dad. Oh, Alvin.
It was an honor to work with her. She was a hard worker.
You can tell the truth.
No, she was great. I would feel like I had to take, and she said, no, I feel like we have a better one. She was great. She was a pleasure to work with. So that's my answer.
He's got to go home, so he knows he better sit right there. No, we really did have a good time. And again, talking about young people, Dewan and Alvin wrote that song, and they're great writers. And so I've been blessed to have awesome songs. And to be out here this long and then get a record this fresh and this amazing, I just feel so fortunate and humbled by it. So I saw your hand up. Yes, sir.
With the volunteer movement, and just curious, are there any organizations that you're involved with in volunteering or passionate about?
Any organizations I've been with World Vision for years. And there's so many other great ones out there as well. My husband and I, we have a church. We've been pastoring now for 5 years. And it's so important that we all work together, not just abroad, but there's so much to do right here at home, you know, sowing into the lives of people. And so that's really what I'm doing full time right now, discipling people. And but as far as companies, I've been with World Vision for a long time. Yeah, passionate about helping those who are hurting.
Just one more.
Just one more. Ooh. Okay. Any plans to do any CDs with my brother BB right now? No plans right now. You know, it's been 10 years since I put out new music. And so for me to get back in the studio now that we're pastoring, it took me a while. So nothing's in the plans to do anything with BB right now, but hey, you never know. She said that was it, but can we do one more just because his hand was up a long time? Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations. Namdi Bryan with Bright Radio. With the success of this record, this album, is there plans to do another project with your son?
Yeah, I would like to do that. I would like to do that. Look at him. I don't know, he might be too busy for me now, but I like Alvin's style. And the thing is, working with him and DeJuan Hill, to me, it keeps me relevant with the younger generation. At the same time, he knew I wasn't trying to be 16 either. So it's real important that somebody understands your ministry, who you are, what you stand for, but also be able to package it in a way that will reach more people. So I would love to work with Alvin again. Thank you all. God bless. Thank you so much.
Remember me from the whole scatting, how I got everything, but went solo, and so she's my blood auntie, and then kind of play cousins and play aunties and uncles from there. Yeah. So this year was my second nomination. Last year was my first for my single, I'm Good. So this is my first time attending because last year we didn't get a chance to. So I've really enjoyed myself, and we received the Grammy nomination as well for this project. So I'm excited about that. I'm signed to Rodney Jerkins through Motown Gospel and Capital Christian Music Group. Hello. So,
Praise Radio. See you again. All right, how's it going today?
It's going great. I'm excited. This is my first Dove experience, so I'm soaking it all in.
Soaking it all in. You look great and fabulous.
Thank you.
You blessed us last night.
I appreciate it. God is good.
It's such an anointing on your life. What can we expect from you now?
You know, just to continue to be consistent. That's what I'm practicing. I'm trying to be consistent. Consistent in my walk with Christ, consistent in my work ethic, consistent in just putting the time in, the necessary components to be successful. A lot of times we're not consistent, and so we're wondering why things are not lining up for us or why we're not reaching our goals. It's because of inconsistency. And so God has just placed that in my spirit in this season for me. I have to be consistent, and I'm going to see the fruit of my labor. So working on this getting ready to put the new music out this Friday, October 20th. The beautiful project will be released everywhere, and I'm excited about it. Pushing my new book, And the Winner Is.
You have a book?
Yes. It's called And the Winner Is, Tasha Page Lockhart Uncut. And it's a book about real life tragedies and triumphs and how God brought me through molestation, rape, drug addiction, and homelessness. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to just be alive.
I'm excited for you. Tell me about the song with you and Mr. Poppin.
It's called Beautiful Savior. And so it was originally just supposed to be a feature for his record. But then the song blessed me so, I was like, I have to have this on my record. So I'm excited about it. It's a lot of versatility on this record.
We love you. The world loves you. We've been waiting on you. So keep doing what you're doing. God bless you, woman of God.
I appreciate you.
Georgia, we're here with Miss Mendes.
Hi.
Tell us what's going on with you, American Idol.
Oh, 10 years ago, American Idol. I'm on tour right now with Danny Gokey, who was also on American Idol, and Jasmine Murray, who was also in Loving the Outcome. It's called the Rise Out of the Dark Tour. So that's what I'm busy with right now.
Wow. So what are you doing here at the Dove Awards tonight? Are you presenting?
I am presenting. My hero, CeCe Winans, is singing. And I've been in a depression for the last couple of years. And so CeCe was one of the people that God used to reach in and to pull me out. So it's an honor for me, one, to just be here because I've not been here the last 2 years. And then two, to be able to present the person who God used to lift me out.
You are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
We love you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
So I grew up in church. My dad led worship as a kid, so I've been around it my entire life. I ran from it for a number of years, though. I was in a rock band for about 7 years, toured all over the world, and had a pretty reckless past, reckless lifestyle. It was in 2012. I was on a tour in Spain, and I was listening to a radio station, and I heard "Redeemed" by Big Daddy Weave come across a station in our bus, and literally called my wife from a hotel room and quit a band and flew home and canceled the rest of our shows, and we started going to a church, and it kind of happened from here. You know, I just started letting God lead the way, and stopped trying so hard to make things happen in my life on my own, and got in the Word, and He just opened doors that I've been trying to kick down for a number of years. Oh, I'd love to, man. Mike is a great guy. He's super talented. I've always thought that ever since he had this little millennial thing that came out on YouTube and went viral a few years ago. And I was like, man, who is this guy? And then last year, he did this little medley of all the songs of the year, and it was phenomenal. So I'd definitely do something with Micah. Yeah, I will. Anybody else? How did it happen? So at the time that I wrote Chainbreaker, I was living in Arkansas. I was driving back and forth for a number of months, just a lot of times just in prayer, driving in a vehicle, and that God would just give me this one song that would reach people all over the world, people that were struggling with some of the things I'd struggled with in my life. And I went into a songwriting session one day. It was the end of a week. I had absolutely nothing I felt like I was bringing into the write, and I sat down with two other writers. I just poured my heart out with what God was doing in my life, and just the mercy and the grace that He had shown me over the last 4 years. And me and my wife were involved in prison ministry at the time, and the title Chainbreaker was thrown out, and I loved it. And we sat down and literally 20 minutes later wrote that song, and I drove back to Arkansas and just started praying that God would just really use this song, and it's been just a humbling opportunity to just be a part of this. You got one more? I haven't met them at all. I actually I saw that they did it, and I saw the Gaither Band did it, and I would love to meet these guys. Yeah, it'd be super cool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.